Okay, we're gonna get this meeting rolling, and I really appreciate you guys for joining us. Right now, what I'm showing you is the current top 10 offices for sales for Pinellas, Pasco, and Hillsborough County. So this is all residential sales. It's really simple. I just put all residential sales for all of Pinellas, Pasco, Hillsborough County. And what's interesting is these are the top 10 offices. Our office is still in the first place position. Our sister office, Tampa Properties, is number 2, South Tampa, and then Realtech. And then it goes St. Pete, and then I don't remember what Keller Williams that is, Remax Metro, South Shore, Keller Williams, Central Tampa, and New Tampa. The reason why I'm bringing this is not to be bragging to you or anything, but I want to give you some assurance that we're in a really good spot. We're actually up 6.12%, and I'll make sure that I post that for everyone so you guys can use that, because that is something you want to have in your hands or on the screen when you're doing a listing presentation, because it matters to be with the mighty. That is so true. You know, people, it matters to people that you're with an office or brokerage that's succeeding at a high level, and not all offices are. So that's something you have in your hip pocket as a tool. And so I'll make sure I post that up on this while we hear more from Vanessa and Jordan about specifically what they're doing to have the success they're having. And yet that's a good thing to do. That's a good thing to have. Now, if you go into MFR MLS, you'll see that, you know, obviously we're at record low inventory. I don't have to like show you a graph on that. It's obvious. And yet last December, if you remember, if you were able to go to Gary Ubaldini's mastermind, he talked about we officially hit the lowest of lows for inventory since they really kind of kept track or, you know, kept stats on our market data. And we've gone much lower than that now. And the truth is, we're creating almost an inventory crisis. And if you have a buyer, you're feeling that inventory crisis, I'm sure.
That's a good time to list.
Yep, good time to list, right? That's even a reason to list. But we're having an inventory crisis. So when you're talking about this, where the market is now, those are good words to use. It's a crisis because there's literally not enough inventory. So buyers are just overpaying just to get a home. I mean, they really are. They're not afraid to overpay, and they're willing to write really clean offers. And you have to be able to compete like that in order to actually be able to win the deal, you know, and a lot of people are asking about that, or they're still writing kind of weaker offers. We might get into that today, but that might be a second topic that we talk about, is what a great offer needs to look like to get accepted. But today we're going to focus on the importance of the inventory, because whoever has the inventory, the supply controls everything. It's kind of like the masks. Let's just say all of us have companies that make masks, and Vanessa has the greatest inventory of those. Who dictates the prices? Vanessa does, because she's got the greatest inventory. And who dictates who they work with and who they don't? Whoever holds the inventory. So just know inventory is king right now, and that would be something that you would want to know, is inventory is how you insulate yourself from being negatively affected by any market shift. And the other point to just know is whenever there is a market shift of any sort, there's opportunity. There's always opportunity. So without further ado, I want to jump in with Jordan and Vanessa. And so if you guys can both unmute yourself, and we're just doing this real free form. So if you guys have any real strong question or challenge you're facing or something you need help overcoming, I'm going to mute a few of you. Unmute yourself if you have something to say or want to ask, or feel free to put it in the chat, any questions you have. But we're doing this real free form. So before we jump into the specifics, I'd love for Vanessa and Jordan just to share a little bit about you, how long you've been in the business, kind of how you get your business, anything that you're willing to share, just to introduce yourself to everyone on the call.
Vanessa,
Jordan, you want to go? Okay.
Go first.
Okay, super. Well, I'm a team of 7. There's 4 buyer specialists, and we've got 2 admin people. And then we've got 1 referral agent that was on our team, but she decided she wanted to spend more time with her grandchild. So she sends us referrals, which is great. We did about 30 million last year, just under 100 transactions. We're kind of on target to do the same this year. Might be a tad bit behind with COVID, but so far we've done about 15 million this year. 45% of our business is listings and 55% buyers. And I would say 50% of our business comes from our past clients, and about 30% come from agent referrals or agent services, referral services. So that's kind of it.
Perfect.
We love selling houses.
Yeah. How many years have you been in the biz?
Well, I've been in the business since 1984 in a bunch of different capacities, but rubber meets the road since maybe what was it, 2010 when I started on my own.
Very cool. Okay, Jordan, what about you?
Jordan Myers Home Team. Joined Keller Williams 2013. I got in the business barely before that, and I've been here ever since. And we currently have 31 active listings, 24 million in inventory. So if I just focus on getting all of those sold, that'd be a decent year itself.
A decent year? That'd be a pretty fantastic year, let's be honest. That's amazing.
So we've closed 47 deals to date, and I'm seeing more so here Sphere lately, and we have 6 more listings prepping to get on the market now. So yeah, we're just in it, actively working every single day, and inventory is king. So
inventory is king. Inventory is like your security blanket, isn't it?
Yeah.
So let's talk about what are you guys, I mean, you always list real estate, you both do. And we'll start with you, Jordan, since you're up. What are you doing differently? So COVID hit. It hit us all like kind of the same week. We're like, what is this? And oh, wow, this is bigger than we thought. You know, we all kind of taken back. What did you do to get where you're at? Like, you didn't sit on the couch and eat bonbons and watch CNN. What did you do?
Well, I did those things. However,
okay.
Well, everything but CNN. I did not watch any news whatsoever. Well, I tried not to. So we didn't change a lot. What we did change, of course, was precautions that we took. And, I think the main thing we can focus on, I think everyone has like a different perception of this whole pandemic thing, right? So what I always wanted to make sure right away is I found out how people wanted us, or what their expectation of us was in using these precautions on their listings, and even on the listing appointment, whether they wanted to meet with us in person or whether we're doing a virtual listing appointment, which I'm doing another course next Wednesday on for all 3 of our market centers. If you want to join that, that's on the virtual listing presentation itself. So some people were fine meeting the same way, and some of them did want to meet that virtually way. So we'll talk a little bit more of that in the training next week of how we tried to mirror and duplicate exactly what we do in person in the virtual stage. So some of the things on like vacant properties, I try to give the discretion to the buyer's agents, and that they're using precautions as well. What I never wanted to do here was make things more challenging than they already are for people. So, but remember, it's all about our clients' needs and expectations. So as long as we were fulfilling those, everyone's being safe in the process. I really didn't want to change much. I've had listing appointments where I've had to talk through a mask, and it's very frustrating. And so it's, but we do our best here, and like I at all times I tried to keep these things exactly the same way as how we were doing before, without much variation off of it.
So when I say what did you do differently, you didn't do much differently. You just figure out, how can I do what I did? But I'm going to first find out from whoever I'm across the table or across the screen from, what their expectations are.
Right. So if I walked in their house and I didn't have a mask on, they, I think, were offended a little bit right away, right? Or if I'm walking around, they don't care, they don't have masks on, but I'm walking around the only one with a mask on, then they're kind of looking at me sideways too. So we just we had a kind of just a mutual agreement of what we were both comfortable with and proceeded.
Got it. What percentage of your listing appointments, because you do a lot, so it would be interesting to know, how many are you doing virtually versus physically?
I'm still doing about 90% physically. If I can get in the door of somebody and have them sign on the spot, I mean, I'm definitely doing that. We are getting some people that own properties out of state, and so those we're doing virtually. You know, they're trying to get rid of their property here or whatnot. We do a lot of land and commercial as well, so some of those things are like that where they don't really need to meet or want to meet. But to be honest, we've been doing that before the COVID crisis. You know, people own property here and they live out of state, so now we just have like a perfected way of doing it.
Very cool. I like that. Okay, so same kind of question to you, Vanessa.
Yeah.
What's different? Anything?
Yeah, and just like Jordan, we didn't really see a huge difference in the way we're doing business. We did offer virtual appointments, but everybody, I haven't done a virtual appointment. They are like, no, come on out. So I would always meet them at the house. I've probably done more listing presentations outside than I ever have before, because it's a safer place per se. And I give them that option, but I always have my mask on, and sometimes they do and sometimes they don't, but we sit, you know, across the table from each other and do the presentation pretty much the same. So that hasn't really changed that much. And we are definitely wearing masks. We did call all of our sellers. We told them that we would be carrying, you know, stuff with us, which is hand sanitizers, face masks, and wipes. And we do offer to wipe down every light switch, you know, that kind of stuff after we show the properties. We've asked them if they want us to be there to meet the people to make sure they do in fact wear masks and stuff. And, you know, the majority of them are like, you know, do whatever you need to do. It's fine. We'll wipe them down. But we offer that service. And, you know, I think most people are not that strict about it. So it's not changed too much, but I do wear masks, and I'm with you, Jordan. It's kind of a pain to have that mask on while you're doing a presentation.
You sound like Charlie Brown's teacher. Wah, wah, wah.
I know, and I wear glasses, so they fog up when I'm talking to them. So you're just like, oh, this is really hard. But
so that's interesting, because I think a lot of people think so much has changed, and so you guys are just continuing on and just making the pivot of how can I keep doing what I was doing without having to make too much change. What about so when COVID hit, what did you do, or what was your message to the people you knew on Facebook, your database, your pipeline? How did you address that to keep things rolling? Because I think many people on this call would say their business just kind of died, or it just went to like this twilight zone and they're still trying to revive that pipeline. What did you guys do? And I'll start with you, Vanessa, since you're up.
Yeah, I would say that a lot of, we had 22 contracts in the drawer when COVID happened. And of those, 2 of them fell apart because the people lost their job or they got deferred income and they couldn't qualify. So we talked to each of the sellers and told them that we were staying on top of all that stuff. We were looking to make sure that things were going as smooth as they could. And on those 2 properties, we put them back on the market and sold them right away again. So we also shared that with people, that people are still buying, they're still selling. It's an essential business. People have to move. So don't panic. And we kind of just kept sending that message out. We did do a letter, so to speak, or a bulletin to everybody, just to say that these are the things we're now doing through the COVID to maintain a safe environment for both our buyers and our sellers. And we just gave a whole list of the things that we were doing, which is, you know, we're not driving buyers in our cars anymore. We're meeting them at the properties, and For listings, I'll be wearing a mask. If you guys feel that you need to, please do so. We're going to keep socially distanced. Just educating them on what we were doing because of this current situation.
So basically, by kind of setting expectations of what to expect, and that you guys were following the best protocol possible that we know of, right?
Yes.
Your goal was just to put them at ease so they kept their mind in the game.
Exactly. And yeah, we kept getting listing appointments. It wasn't like people, stopped calling for listing appointments. And now, with the current crisis that we have in listing inventory, we're shaking bushes with sellers that have been kind of sitting on the sidelines saying, we're having bidding wars again. It's a time to list. And, if they feel safe and they feel ready, I would go now because it's a prime time. But also for those listings that are sitting that are overpriced, if you're not selling in this market, it's time for a price reduction. Because
yeah, they're definitely way overpriced if they're not, or they're such an ugly duckling or unfinanceable or something.
Yeah.
There's something wrong if they're not selling right now. So if you have a listing out there that's not selling, reach out and we'll help you. We'll just review it with you and give you some feedback.
Yeah.
Cool. I love it. So Jordan, back to you. Same kind of question. What did you advise your team to, what was the message to the pipeline? What was the message to anyone that was on the fence? And did you, obviously you guys still have some fence sitters, what was that objection? What does that sound like?
Well, so we're always going back to leads, listings, leverage. And the great thing about listings is you get to market them, leverage them for more leads. So typical way we do it is coming soon, just listed, typically open house, otherwise under contract and just sold. So we can do that. We usually want to mirror that with our social media and then door knocking the community. Well, we couldn't door knock the community, so the more we can be consistent, and if people are seeing you virtually or what you're sending out to them via your marketing campaign, your email campaigns, they're seeing that business is still being done in the same manner. So like we wanted to make sure that they knew nothing was changed as far as we're still selling properties. So that was a big way where we kept doing it. And then, obviously, a big thing, I talked to a CEO of a local nonprofit the other day, and I'm like, man, I feel like disconnected from the community. And because we used to go to a lot of local events, it's how we built business over the years. And like, I'm not seeing a lot of people. There were several people we didn't see for months, but we talked to them on the phone. So, and if other people weren't doing that, I think I've got a ton of these referral sources and sphere of most of these listings we've taken recently are a lot of sphere, or they are a lot of them were getting internet and sign calls, because I don't know why, but it's picked up significantly. I don't know if people just aren't contacting other realtors, or those real whatever, like if someone's paying for Zillow leads, they're not calling them for some reason. They're calling us more now. But the more listings you have, the more of those things you typically get.
Mm-hmm. If anyone has any questions, just put them in the chat box, because I can't see everybody's hands. There's too many of you, which is a good problem. Okay, so you guys have to run into some sort of objection. I know you guys can roll with the punches, but what are you hearing from anybody? What's your objection? And I'll start with you, Jordan.
Well, a lot of them, is now the right time to sell, or is it, what do we do? Are people, I heard people aren't even looking at properties, and of course we know that. So it's just that little bit of education piece, which we just talked about. And what I always liked, Gary's masterminds is he always, every single month for the past 7 years I've been here, has always found a way where no matter what market it is, there's a reason for people to act now. And so property now, right? So we just need to know what that is at all times to be able to get the urgency up. So there was a Forbes article last month. I'm not sure where the numbers are at now, but 30% of U.S. Mortgage holders were either didn't pay or were late on their June mortgage payment. We'll find out what July is here now probably, you know, in the next coming weeks or days, whatever here. And then of course, unemployment was at 13%. During the Great Recession, it was 10%. So like we're seeing these indicate, like, you know, we look at leading indicators, and usually days on market is a leading indicator. The longer those go on the market, typically then prices may start to drop, or people can't afford, right, their mortgage, pre foreclosures, things like that. So you know, it's a way now where we may see a price drop towards the end of the year. We don't know, you know, but like we look at these leading indicators, and some of these things start to tell a story. So you know, if now may be the best time to sell, and it's ultimately about their situation. So if those are some of the ways we've gotten around it, especially by literally having these conversations every single day.
Well, you just did like the best soundbite video. If I would have been on it, I would have stopped the video and started again for you, because you just did probably the most economic overview, best economic overview, quick 30-second soundbite you could tell your whole database right now, right? You put them to bed about, put it to rest about like their worry of no one's buying, no one's looking, but you also said, we don't know what's ahead, right? And if foreclosures go up and distressed properties start get listed around your awesome house, how's that going to affect your values? You know, all those types of things. So I'm going to put you on the spot, Jordan, because I know you teach short sales. So could you teach us a short sale class in August?
Yes, we were supposed to do it in
Yep,
March.
I know. and then this happened.
Yeah,
Well, and it was kind of premature because we didn't have them. So now we're going to be having short sales again, but it's not like right now. And yet that is a great topic to bring up to your whole sphere, that the truth is right now we know what's happening, and it's like crazy train in terms of such low inventory, such high demand. And yet as we see the truth of forbearance and unemployment and COVID, we're going to see inventory go up, but it's going to be distressed. It's probably going to be distressed more than anything, or certain segments like luxury. And yet, if I was a really pristine home in a particular neighborhood, and I happen to have 4 homes in my, you know, 4 within a couple blocks or within a mile of my house, that were one of these people that were likely going to be a future, let's just be honest, foreclosure, or, you know, that's going to affect my home's value negatively. So that's a really good talking point right now to make, to kind of wake people up on the opportunity, isn't it? So great script. I'm going to switch to, I got to find you again, Vanessa, you disappeared on me. I have so many people on here. It's hard with this little mouse to find you guys sometimes. But Vanessa, besides your sphere of influence, what are you doing to find listings? What do you guys do besides sphere of influence and, you know, come list me's that you've earned? Let's be honest, you haven't been in this position your whole career that things just flew at you, but what else do you do to earn those come list me calls, come list me emails, and then what else are you doing outside of that to create opportunity right now?
Right. Well, I think for me, I talk real estate everywhere and anywhere I go. So if I'm at the hairdresser, I always ask people, where do you live? And as soon as they say, oh, I live so-and-so, I'll go, oh, I love that place. I'm in real estate. I ask everybody where they live. So it's kind of like a, you know, a constant active prospecting. And everybody on our team does the same thing. And so Scott was out last week, and he ran into a guy at a house where he was meeting a plumber at one of our listings. And he goes, what are you doing? And Scott said, well, I'm at one of our listings. We're in real estate and we're meeting a plumber for our seller. And he's like, wow, you guys do full service. And then he said, well, I just talked to a realtor. I'm thinking about selling my place, but my place, they told me that nothing's selling right now and to wait until COVID's over.
Wow.
So Scott goes, oh, you need to talk to my wife, you know, and so we got the appointment and we went out and talked to him. And that's what the realtors in the building that he lives in is telling him, like nothing's selling and stuff. So active prospecting, just, you know, being out and about, talking to people. I mean, that helps. Agent to agent referrals. So promoting ourselves through, you know, websites, advertising, Facebooks, kind of like what Jordan said about, you know, your social media, continuing to show people that you are still moving, you're still selling things are still happening. So that kind of stuff. You know, we've got our database that we send letters to saying, hey, we're here for you. Things are happening. As far as the crisis goes, there's a lot of people now working from home, and it may end up that they're not going to be going back to an office environment. So it's the time to get that office, that home office, that extra room that you didn't have before. So, people are moving up in their size of homes because they need the home office now. And people that we're here for you if you need to do that, or if you did take a pay cut and you need to downsize, we're here for you there. So just kind of working your database and soliciting that
So
way.
one of the fun ideas I floated on one of the morning mojos that I saw was just even doing a social media post of, if you knew you were going to get quarantined for the
Yes.
rest of the year, what would be essential about your home? What would you change about your home? And what's cool is it's fun, and most people will be like, oh, I need another office, or my husband's office would be outside, something like that. They always have fun, or there'd be like a pool. There would be a pool, and what it does is, like, say Vanessa's in my database and she responds to my Facebook, it gives her a reason to pick up the phone and say, hey, how are you? I saw your, instead of giving you a thumbs up, I thought I'd give you a call. How are you? And you can strike up that conversation. So if you're fearful of creating the conversation, there's some more passive ways that you can do it that are really well received. And it could be as simple as, you could even do a series like once a week. Okay, if you knew you were going to be in quarantine for the next 6 months, which kitchen do you want? Or
Right.
What room would you add to your house? Or what would you change about your house? So you could do a series and get different people. Now, one thing to remember about that, if you're going to rely on social media to start conversations, you want to post at a variety of times, because the truth is, if you guys are all in my Facebook as friends, some of you are morning posters and readers, some of you post and read all day, some of you are 7 to 9 p.m. you're on, some of you are 11 p.m.ers, you've got the kids to bed and you have a moment to yourself, so you check out what's going on Facebook. So you want to post at varieties of times, because you'll have a whole different tribe of people respond. It's pretty cool. So just an idea out there for those of you that might struggle. Now, Jordan, same question. I'm going to flip to you. We got one loud person. I'll figure out who it is and mute you. But Jordan, if you can unmute yourself and share with us what, same question. Besides your sphere of influence and Come List Me's, what are you doing to create business? Now, I think you guys do a lot, so just rattle off all that you do, because it's pretty impressive. Oh, and Jordan posted his class information in the chat, so check it out now.
So I'm I'm looking at my my lead tracker right now, and it is, I mean, it's hard to say it's not Sphere and internet calls. We put and sign calls too. I've got I remember, I think it was back in 2014 or 15. There was a guy, Craig Rieger. He has a course, 90 listings in 90 days. And he took 90 listings in 90 days. And I was like, I want to do that. So he mentioned he got a ton of directional signs, and he put out 10 directional signs for every single listing. So if you've seen one of my listings, or you live near one of my listings, you've probably seen my directionals around, and they're like mini billboards in a way. I put them on all the major roads. And I don't know, we've always gotten good calls on them. It's always been a good investment. And I don't know, yeah, the internet calls have significantly increased. So I've had, I've double-sided 11 deals this year, which is the most on average. I don't know if we could attribute that to what, like I said, people not answer, just people calling directly. But it's still I'm still going after not always just the end user, the buyer or seller, but still the referral source. My vendors, my referral sources are still key. I got 6 referrals from one source. I got another one that had owned 4 properties themselves. So some of these big ones are coming in chunks like that. Of course, we're always looking for that. But so then we have this a rule of thumb, right? This is not my rule of thumb. It's MREA stats, and they're looking at it for MREA too, about it's the lead to close ratio is still a 10-to-1 ratio. So for every 10 leads that are generated, 1 lead will close on that. And that's from 1990 till now. Well,
Right.
When I'm looking at my last 33 leads, we have 13, I have 13 signed contracts from the last 33 leads. So that's 2.5 ratio, not 10-to-1. So of course, we always taught you, those of you who took bold, or those, anyone in the business, Sphere is the way to go because your closing ratio is much higher. And I don't know, it's not that we're doing anything different. Well, a couple of things I did different. Actually, I've spent more money on video marketing recently than I ever have. And I know in Shift, we're supposed to, reduce all your expenses. And I was very cautious about that. However, I kind of doubled down on it because I knew if people aren't going to see the property, they're not going to come out, I'm going to put a high production video for them. And so I spent extra money on it, and it actually, it hit what I was going for. So more people were responding to the post, these better quality videos, and the sellers are extremely happy with them. And, then we're circle prospecting around those videos as well to get other listings. So that's one thing I think I've done differently. I'm not saying go out and spend a bunch of money. Please don't.
But do video, and video you can do free.
It's true.
It really is. In fact, we did some fun talks about this on Mojo in the Facebook Mastery group for some of the tactics we're finding for Facebook ads. If you do a Facebook ad and you use the Facebook form ad, you want that because that's how you capture that lead from Facebook, you guys. And then you use the learn more button, but you land them at a video of you just saying, hey, I'm Jessica Fox, and you clicked on my ad, and thank you, and I'm going to follow up with some resources for you, and if you have interest in seeing this property or any other, I'd love to show it to you. Like something like that, where it's real, like easygoing, personal, and then when they see your follow-up call and your follow-up text and your follow-up email and your follow-up drip, they like think they know you, or know you're a pretty decent sounding guy, or, you seem pretty likable, or, this isn't some robot. We're seeing that just that one little thing has increased our Facebook ad response rate so that they're interacting with us, not just us interacting with them, immensely. And you know what? That's free. And I'm doing it with Mark this week, and we're just gonna make a couple videos of him just with my cell phone out on our dock because he's gonna do waterfront stuff. So it doesn't have to be like your was it Maserati or a Lamborghini video? It was cool. I want to post it on our Facebook page just to show everyone because it's pretty darn cool.
Yep. And the whole thing is like since I talked about a little bit earlier, we can't go out to as many events, or the chambers aren't having as many events and things like that. So people, they'll hear my name, they may see it on a directional sign or whatever. However, if I have the face-to-face relationship, and Vanessa's built a great business around that too, of having the relationship, that's where everything comes together, right? And you get the referrals and you get the past clients. And so at the least, I want to put my face in front of them so it's more personable at whatnot, or at least they can see me in action at these properties selling them. And I think that's half the battle.
Okay, there's two big things I still want to tackle with this call. One is the nuances that you're facing with servicing these listings. What's a little different, but be a little as specific as you can. Like, what's different about servicing these listings, and where are they getting hairy? And I would just say, both unmute yourself and jump in. Where are you seeing like the deals kind of fall apart? Where are you worried because you both are really technically sound in keeping a deal together, let's be honest. For someone that's maybe newer to the industry and doesn't even know, when you get an offer, where do you see the holes or gaps? And how are you keeping deals together? Where are they sliding? What kind of advice can you give around that?
Well, I know keeping the deals together has been tricky in some instances. They stopped doing jumbo loans, so we had to switch a couple people to a first and second, thinking outside the box because we can't make the jumbo, and that worked, and we got them to the closing table. And I do think that You know, the ones that are maybe overpriced and haven't sold, you got to keep in touch with those sellers and tell them every week at least what's going on in the market and what they need to do, and communicating good news and bad news, but communicating to them, just keeping up with them and making sure that they know that we're not, you know, not working for them, and telling them what's going on in the market and just keeping up with them on a
So
regular
in the
basis.
past, if I was a lister of yours and we were under contract, but we had, you know, contingencies to get through, how more frequently are you speaking to me?
We're speaking to them in a contract to close period, probably every other day at the most, or at the least, you know, at least. And so just depending on what's going on with them. But, you know, and they're asking, you know, what kind of job do they have? You know, even when you go to write the contract, because they want to know if it's a job that could go away in the pandemic. And if they have multiple offers, they're picking the ones that have the better jobs. So we're looking at contracts differently too in that respect.
Yeah, I want to dive into that next with the contracts you get. Jordan, what would you add to just keeping deals together? Where are you seeing deals get pressure in terms of falling apart more? I mean, obviously it's the buyer, isn't it?
It's usually the buyer, and some of them have been pickier lately, and it's driving me nuts. However, I'm always a firm believer of time kills deals. So we're looking to write the shortest contract to like possible here, and you know, I don't know. Sometimes we don't care that if we have to do the work of another agent or like hunt down information or whatever, insurance info, we'll help provide it. We will always want to be ahead of the transaction at all times. So as much as you can anticipate, if you're new and you don't really know what to anticipate, you can hire a transaction coordinator to help you. You know, at least stay on track or maybe anticipate some things that you may not anticipate. But the more we can, like when we're waiting around, if it's, but this goes for any deal, right? Like remember, not much has changed. So if it's, if you have a 10-day inspection period and we're waiting until the 11th hour, the 9th or 10th day to try to negotiate the repairs, it could still fall through, and people may have reluctance to not buy. So.
Right, or they want to move on to another offer. So let's talk about that. You have a listing, and like most, it's hot and heavy. You got lots of offers coming. You've got multiple offers. Do you try to control that by waiting to review them to a certain period of time? Do you review them one at a time? What dictates a better offer than not? I mean, what comes to mind for both of you? And I'll start with you, Vanessa.
Well, I know that because right now it is such a crisis in inventory, you're pretty much expecting that if you price it right, and I always try to tell my people there's a sweet spot, and I try to price it closer to where it's going to sell, and that causes that frenzy and the sense of urgency. We like to list on a Thursday, and then over the weekend say that we'll take offers on Sunday, and you know, advertise that. And so then people are thinking, oh my gosh, I have until Sunday to. And then if we do get a collection of offers, then we look at each of the offers. We look at the buyer's qualifications, the buyer's jobs, what are they currently doing, how long have they been doing it, you know, how long they've been with the company, you know, as much as we can find out. And people are pretty open to telling you those things. And then, you know, of course, the percentage of financing that they're doing, or if it's cash, or, you know, you just look at the pros and cons of each offer, and then present each of them to the sellers. So, but we are looking for the more qualified buyer, and like Jordan said, the faster they can close, so the less time anything can happen, like losing their job or whatever it might happen during that pandemic.
So if I'm the agent on the other end, and I might be new, say I'm new to the business, and I maybe didn't even call you to tell you I was sending you an offer, and you just get an offer. What do you think of that?
Oh, definitely. I'd be calling to say, I'm on my way back to the office to write an offer. Do you have one? And all
right, that's the point. I was hoping you'd give that advice. So if you're going to write an offer, what's best protocol?
Yeah, definitely call the agent, say, I'm heading back to my office. Do you have any other offers? And if they say yes, you know, are you doing a highest and best? We want to be in that mix. And when do you need the offer by in order for us to be included in that? And is there anything that the owner is looking for like in a closing date or, you know, anything that would be a hot spot for them. And then, you know, we work on that. And then we've used the escalation clause in this market, which allows us to, you know, give them $500 more or $1,000 more than their best offer up to a certain price. And we've won some deals that way as well.
I don't know why every offer would not include an escalation clause at this point. So if you don't know what an escalation clause is, we'll have Howard, our broker, do a class on it, because it's actually a really smart strategy, especially if you're losing out. So I don't know why. I mean, is there any reason why you wouldn't? I don't know. I can't think of any.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, it's the smart thing to do when you're in a multiple offer situation.
So Jordan, for you, what, you know, you got multiple offers in front of you in order of importance. What does it look like? Financing and dates?
Absolutely. We're doing this regardless. We've created a template for years on multiple offers. I've always found that giving everyone a fair shot at, or at least an opportunity to increase their offer, even if they say it's their highest and best, sometimes they still increase it higher. So we always want to, I always, you know, suggest giving people the opportunity to submit their highest and best. And once again, no matter, not just this market, we're always calling the lender, presuming it's financing, to verify the buyer, because the realtor, I mean, I'm always going to say that when I submit an offer, it's a strong buyer, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, so we got to verify some information. Because we've had before too. We just talked about this in Ignite 10 negotiation part. We talked about the escalation clause, and you know, sometimes they ask for closing costs, and then we call the lender and we're like, well, the realtor said they needed closing costs. So like, no, they don't. So you might get conflicting information there too. And
so let me say I'm the lender. So Vanessa is the buyer. I'm representing her. Or I'm financing her, and you're the selling agent, and you're calling me. What specific questions are you asking?
Well, I'm asking, you know, your borrower submitted an offer on her property. I'm calling to verify their information. I see here on the offer they wrote conventional financing, or, you know, and it matched the pre-approval letter. So I just want to see, you know, if you've done a tri-merge credit report, or like, you know, do they have enough capital here? Are they buying at the top of their price range? Some of them will reveal more information to you than you're expecting. So I'm always just prying for info at all times. And then of course, if they, you can kind of tell if they've really done their homework, or how qualified they are. And you can get a good feel too for the lender, because they're also going to be a kind of a partner in this transaction as well, and how on top of it they're going to be. So if they're not on top of it at all, then, you know, we're waiting for appraisal last minute, or CD's not going out in time, and now we're having to like possibly extend delay closing because of them. You're going to find that out right up front.
Yeah.
Yep. So a lot of agents don't realize that they have the right to do that. It's not only do you have the right, but you should. Absolutely should.
So
and if you are representing a buyer, you can call the lender and check on this too. And if they have someone that's not real responsive or doesn't even call you back, you might recommend that they check another lender. Yeah. So just know that's all good to do.
And I will say, with all the multiple offers, the game's up on, you know, has increased on presenting your buyer in a, you know, writing personal letters about the buyers. And, you know, they've got 2 cats and a dog, and here's their 3-year-old, and they're really excited to spin the home. You know, you've loved your home and they want to love it too. And even videos, even capturing a video on your phone and sending the video with the offer. I know that sounds crazy, but we've had sellers go, oh, I really like the people in the video. Can we make that one work? So, you know, whatever it takes, because, you know, you want to put the best foot forward with your buyers too.
So for anyone that's working with a lot of buyers, escalation clause is a must. Double check that their lender's not a flake. Pour it on thick. Go to the video. What else? Anything else that you guys have tried or done in the past that's worked?
We submitted an escalation clause recently and still didn't get it. I have a feeling, you know, the other people gave it too. So nothing's a sure thing. Definitely, if you're writing an offer, or someone wants to write an offer, I've always found it to get that offer in quick. The more time that goes, and they can start to think about it or whatnot. But yeah, everything is speed is key. But yeah, we've I don't remember my other point I was going to make. I apologize.
So I've got a good question from Lisa. She's a newer agent. She would like your feedback, bless you. Her question is, would you suggest we lead generate because your sources are referral and sign calls?
Well, I think lead gen is living life. I mean, if, you know, and we're not going out as much as we used to in large groups, but like I said, I go to my hairdresser, I Starbucks coffee. I mean, everybody knows that I'm in real estate because you want to be known to be in real estate. So I think that's lead gen. I shouldn't say this, but I don't pick up the phone and do a lot of cold calling. It's more warm calling to friends and the people I've known in my database. So anybody that you know as a family or friend, I think you talk to them about real estate and you get to know markets and you get out and about and you study the markets. You run into people at a park and, you know, kind of say, what do you love best about the neighborhood? Because I'm canvassing it for future buyers and was wondering what well, you knew real estate. And then, you know, you start talking to them about, oh yeah, have you seen the house around the corner? And even if you haven't physically seen it, you might have seen it online. You start building confidence and you know in your market. And, you know, so, but, you know, that's lead gen too.
Those are all lead gen. And the thing is right now, I just put it in the chat. There's a website that you can go to and you simply type in your name and you have your live stimulus plan. Now, Gary Keller built this for you. And now you can also use it as an agent. I'm refinancing with it right now. You only have to have owned the home for 3 months, which is interesting. And they are refining jumbos, which is interesting, which is unique about Keller mortgage. But it's two-part. If you just go to that website, put your name in and hit search, you have all your marketing pre-done for you. And on step 2, if you click on that and you just hit the Facebook icon, it even creates a post for you on Facebook, as long as a tweet, and gives you text messages to send, as well as emails to send, as well as scripts for a call to explain what your stimulus plan is. So your stimulus package, basically, anyone you give this to or they hand it off to in your behalf, anywhere qualifies for a fee-free refi. I mean, you think about that, that's about 2% of closing. Most closing costs are between 2 and 5%. You're saving them all of that, plus there's $1,000 credit to cover the appraisal cost. And really most things that would stop anyone from refinancing right now is that. So you might want to go into that and just share that to the world and then follow up and say, hey, if not you, who do you know in your world that might benefit from this? In lieu of forbearance or some of the other things that they're considering, you know, they could do a fee-free refinance right now without a penny out of their pocket, benefit from skipping a payment, and likely reducing their payment or the time of their loan significantly. And we're between Mark and I, we're thinking of going from a 30 to a 15 without really affecting our payment. It's like $38 or something. I mean, that's crazy to think of, right? And yet you guys have that gift in your pocket right now. If you go there, go for it, send it out, shout it out, because no one's going to be offended by you trying to help them save some money right now. And that is not going to be like a short-term thing. Gary's thinking that this is like a new thing of the future for all of you. And what a cool thing when you're talking to FSBOs or lead generating with FSBOs or expireds and saying, hey, if you're not moving now, here's a fee-free refi gift I can give you. And, you know, if you ever think of selling in the future, I'd love to earn your business. You're not going to offend anybody by that, but build trust and relationship. And the truth is, if you've been a little secret agent-y, which some of us do, this is a great way for you to get out of your own way by giving a gift that is so valuable. I mean, we think about it. I was talking on the Morning Mojo, and Margaret Jackson just went through it. She saved, I think it was $87,000 on her loan refinancing. Wow, what a gift. If you gave a gift like that to anyone in your world, where's your rating with them in terms of real estate? It's through the roof. And the other thing is it's easy to share. So if I look at your Facebook, I'm friends with you, and I see this post and I click on it and I don't do anything with it, but I share it with a friend of mine and you don't know my friend, Keller Mortgage or Keller Covered will let you know if you have any inquiries, and they make you part of the loop so that you can grab that person as part of your sphere. So definitely check that out. That's a huge Benny you have right now. So I see from, go ahead.
I'm sorry. So to even speak on that point. So lead gen is, is an absolute must. So I pulled up Zillow. I typed FSBOs in the chat box. I pulled up just our Tri-County area, Pinellas, Hillsborough, and Pasco. There are 504 current for sale by owners in those 3 counties. So all people who are selling their properties and that are saying they're not represented by a realtor. So those are opportunities for everyone to go after. 504. If you get 1% of those, it's 5 listings. So if 5 listings would change the rest of your year, then that's a great place to start. One thing, I haven't seen the training in a while. I know Bold changed. We would go through the problem presentation. Are any of you not familiar with that? Because it is specific to for sale by owners. And there's a specific script for it. It's different than a listing presentation. Because if we go into a FSBO with our general listing presentation, they're like, shut the door. Like, I'm not listing with a realtor. The problem presentation is designed to break down that wall of, okay, well, think maybe I do want to hire a realtor. I can record
I was going to say, who would like Jordan to do the problem presentation? Not on the spot right now. Raise your hand. I think plenty of us, right? It creates a situation, because if I'm a for sale by owner and I know the market's screaming hot right now, why would I hire Jordan, right? That's the mindset of a for sale by owner right now, right, Jordan? And Jordan, through his voodoo magic and a formula and a script, basically, is able to create a problem for me. And so I would love it, Jordan, if we could get you on another day to role play the problem presentation, because you've got it nailed. And for anyone, they're like, dang, I do need you. It really is a great communication, and it's something that you all can learn and master. So
my largest sale still to date in this business was a FSBO. And so, I probably don't do as many, but Vanessa and I have been in the industry for several years. So a lot of these for sale by owners and expires withdrawals, they were whatever, cold call or whatever you want to call it. They weren't a client at the time. However, they are repeat clients. They become those past clients that you service them well. They give you referrals. So anywhere where you can find that client, that lead, and service it, and they become past clients. Even if you didn't know them before, for sale by owner becomes one of my best friends. We just literally closed on his 4th property a week and a half ago.
Got it. Love it. Doesn't that rock? Mm-hmm. So Patty, you have a question. I'm not quite sure what you mean. So if you can unmute yourself. She says, is there any way we could get a copy of the letter about what we are doing during COVID? What do you mean by that?
The letter that he was sending out to his database about what he's doing differently, like, I don't remember now. I didn't have
the precautions.
I could take notes.
Yes. Yeah, the precautions. Do you guys have?
Yeah.
So how did you share it? Was it a letter? Was it a post? Was it an email? Because I think we got it from Southwest and American Airlines and all of these other companies that were affiliated with the COVID CYA email. How did you guys communicate that? I would be curious for both of you.
Yeah, I've got a letter. I'd be happy to send you, and you can get it to Patty, or if she puts her email address, I can send it to her.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. I've learned so much, and I think was reminded about as much from both of you. But you know what I was surprised to hear is it's business as usual for both of you. You're just figuring out how, right? Not like, oh my gosh, the world just changed. It's like, no, this is what I do, but how am I going to do it in this environment? And what little itty bitty shifts did I need to make? Not like the world just changed and now I need to reinvent myself. So it's not that. It's really little minuscule little shifts that you're making and adjustments to be able to keep rolling.
Well, I do think it motivated me for a long time. I kept saying, we got to do videos. And I didn't do professional videos. I did buy a couple of Matterports for my top end listings. But we've been videotaping on our phone, and I bought a little thing that you can clip and put it together. And then we've been posting that on social media, but we've also sent it to our sellers to have them post it on their social media. And you know, that's been good because it forced us to do something that I kept saying, we got to get to it, we got to get to it, but we didn't do it. And now we had to. And then in MLS, they're allowing you to take those videos and doing an open house all day long from 9 to 5. And you put that video clip from YouTube on MLS and your listing is being opened all day long. So that's been helpful too.
That's really clever. I like that. So I can't believe we're almost at an hour. Is there any, if you have a question that wasn't answered, please unmute yourself. There's quite a few people that are asking for your COVID letter. So if you wouldn't mind sending it to me, I'll send it to the office.
Okay.
You know, any last words of advice before I just share a few little tidbits?
Price ahead of the market. That's from Shift. So when you're having the conversations on listings right up front, this was recorded. So if you're sending this out, I mentioned that those few stats earlier. Go over those, and one literally just walked into it the other day. When we bought this house, it was when the market was downturning and we got a great deal on it. And I'm like, yeah, like, remember what you just said to me? Like, you don't want that to happen by pricing it too high and chasing the ball down the hill. So let's get in front of it now and get you to your next property.
Anything from you, Vanessa, before I just share a few last tidbits?
Well, don't get discouraged and just know that, you know, it's all, you know, there's lots of business out there to be had right now. So for sure.
Well, I want to share just two more things. First of all, for those of you that are really geared to face and relationship and events, our office is hosting an event that you can market as your own. It's the blood drive. And if you go to our Facebook business page or our Facebook closed page, I think I have it open. Yep, I do. Let me make sure I'm sharing the right thing for you guys. You can see that we have this event going. Our awesome culture club put it together, and it's meant for you to actually take and market as your own event to support the community, support a really important cause. They really need blood right now, and have a reason to connect to your database. So if you're looking for that, you have it. It's July 16th. It's coming up. So I would encourage all of you to go check this out, steal the images, steal the verbiage, and just post it as your own and call it the Jessica Fox, customer appreciation event, and maybe everyone that comes and donates, you go buy a coffee for or something, as a way to do some good and bring our community together, because we know right now our community needs to come together. The other thing is, there's a big opportunity right now that many of you may not be aware of, and it's with snowbirds, especially Canadian snowbirds. They're probably not going to be down as likely this year because of the fact that how their government works and how their healthcare works. So this spring, when COVID hit, anyone that was Canadian and visiting was called back to Canada, and if they didn't come back within a certain deadline, they would lose their healthcare benefits. So the truth is they have very low numbers and they're proud of them, and they're really kind of appalled at our numbers. I put a post on our Facebook about it so you could read a little bit more. However, if no Canadians come to Florida this year, what does that look like? Now, how many Canadians own property here that might be willing to sell? So there's a way on Remine that you can actually do some data mining, and there's a way with Command that you can actually build a specific list within your Command database to do very, very cool targeted marketing with your Facebook ads. If you would like to know how to do that, I'm going to feature that on tomorrow's Morning Mojo at 8:30. That all you have to go to is jessicafoxcoaching.com at 8:30, and you're live with us. So I'll be sharing that and showing that, and it's a very smart strategy right now. So just another way that you can put yourself in front of opportunities way. So don't forget that there's lots of ways to get in front of opportunity, and anytime there's any type of shift, there's an opportunity. Just like Jordan and Vanessa's mindset was like, not, oh my gosh, what just happened to the world and what just happened to the industry and what just happened to my business? It's how am I going to do business in today's new world? Well, every time there's a new challenge, there's also that opportunity. So if Canadian snowbirds don't come down, what's the opportunity? And we also know that there's plenty of domestic snowbirds that will still be coming. So don't lose your mind on that. I'm not doing that to scare you, but I'm just reminding you there's always an opportunity. Are you looking for it, and are you strategizing for it? So tomorrow, 8:30, if anyone wants to join me, I'll be going through that. And I'm passionate about putting you guys in front of opportunity, and listings are king. So they say list to last in our industry for a reason. So if you need to practice listings, if you would love to hear Jordan's problem presentation, Jordan again put in our chat when his classes, which is Wednesday the 15th at 11 a.m. Everyone on this call, our KW family, as well as our guests, are welcome to attend. And we're in this together. So keep your chin up, and if you need any help, please raise your hand. Let us know. We are here for you, and we care about you. Have a great day, and thank you, Jordan and Vanessa, for being part of our day. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.